A man is dead after a head-on crash with a semi near Hillsboro. Valley News Live at 5 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 5.
Thunderstorms are firing this afternoon in counties west of Fargo, and this is one of those days when a storm chaser comes in handy. Eric Whitehill is tracking the storms for us, and so is Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. He's standing by with the latest. Hutch?
Andrea, thanks so much. We do have an active tornado warning, and it is on the fringe of our viewing area in western parts of Stutsman County. And here is a look at that storm right now. So if you're familiar with the western reaches of Stutsman County, Medina, Cleveland, the Crystal Springs area and exit, there have been multiple reports of a tornado that has been produced by this storm system moments ago. So the tornado warning does continue for that area. And let me get you the details right on your screen here so you can see. Essentially, a tornado warning is until 5:15 here for the next 15 minutes for the area along the county border. And I want to point out that this storm really is not moving anywhere quickly. It's just kind of sitting in the same spot and spinning, you can see. And as it does so, it's going to meander very close to our viewers out there in Medina. So be aware, this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. And in fact, our storm team is not confined to us here in the brick walls. We have Eric Whitehill on the ground monitoring a storm that he is on right now. He just sent me a note that says that the storm he's watching is trying to produce a little spin up. Not only that, you are part of the storm team. Check out this video that was uploaded moments ago by our friends on Facebook. This is from Connie Fisher Winkle between Dawson and Tappan. That is a landspout tornado. This guy here, the difference between a tornado and those dust devils we've seen of late is that this is attached to a parent thunderstorm and it's making its way down. It's a landspout type tornado. These are usually brief and short-lived, and that was the report, but the storm is spinning and it's very close to our viewing area on the western fringes. We're going to keep our eyes on that. We have another storm cell that's just off to the north of that. Near Woodworth, we're getting a report also of some rotation on that storm. This line extends all the way up into Nelson County for you near Mackville and up into Kitson and Roseau counties. No reports of funnels there, but there is a chance tonight of seeing some marginally severe weather anywhere you see the dark green shades here. That means there could be gusts up to severe levels. There could be up to 1-inch diameter hail from these cells. It'll be marginal, but there is a rotation in the storms tonight. Let me show you what I mean here. Here is the energy in the atmosphere in yellow, and it only lasts until about 8 o'clock. After sunset, our risk for severe should wane quickly. Here's a new tool. You have never seen this before, but this is forecasting where the storms have the best chance of forming by forecasting lightning. So northwest Minnesota, right through Jamestown, slowly working its way into the Red River Valley by 10 o'clock tonight. That's when the thunderstorm threat will be. Andrea, we'll be back with more here later. Isolated funnels, isolated tornadoes possible. Here's the scoop. If a tornado happens, make sure you seek shelter in that interior room away from windows, because it just depends on where they hit. That one in the middle of a field is not going to cause much damage to property, but if it happens in a community, they can be very dangerous. So we'll keep you ahead of the storms right here, and I'll be back continuing to track these storms and have your forecast in a few moments.
All right, break in if you have to. Thank you, Hutch. Autopsy results show Lieutenant Adam Gustafson had a sudden heart attack at the West Fargo Police Station yesterday. The community is remembering the lieutenant with a memorial set up in the grand foyer of West Fargo City Hall. The lobby is open to the public from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Funeral arrangements have not yet been announced. Lieutenant Gustafson had been with the department for more than 10 years and leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Tonight on Valley News Live at 6, we'll hear from law enforcement about Gustafson's lasting impact on the department and the community.
By the time we got up to it, we were about 2 cars and a semi behind the whole thing, and their car was shredded to pieces.
Those accounts were from an eyewitness of a deadly crash today. Kelsey Nice says it was scary to see a car involved in a chase with deputies speed past her. Deputies say they were chasing a vehicle that was reported stolen out of Grand Forks. The male driver was heading south on I-29 when he crossed the center line and crashed head-on with a semi near Hillsboro. That male driver died and his female passenger was taken to Sanford for unknown injuries. The semi driver was also hurt. Traffic is now open in that area after it was backed up for several hours. There's no word yet on the names of the people involved in the crash. A man has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for his role in a deadly car versus pedestrian crash in Fargo last year. David Torgerson pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of 39-year-old Peter McKenney. Police say Torgerson was driving in Fargo when he hit and killed McKenney, who's from Alexandria, Minnesota. Originally, police arrested a woman in connection with the death, but they later learned Torgerson was the true suspect. After serving 6 years behind bars, Torgerson will spend 2 years on probation. Today, members of the Fargo Human Relations Commission met to discuss a proposed hate crime ordinance within the city. If passed, anyone who violates the ordinance by committing simple assault, criminal mischief, or harassment could face up to a $1,500 fine and up to 30 days in jail. An organizer for the coalition says today's meeting was a rich conversation with incredible feedback from people in the community.
I think our community can do better, and I think that we need to raise the bar as far as what is appropriate behavior to all our residents. There should be nobody living in our community who lives under the veil of threat and fear that they are going to be targeted because of who they are.
The hate crime ordinance will be introduced to the City Commission on June 1st. The Fargo Human Relations Commission hopes to have the ordinance in place by July 7th. Canadian officials say people looking to freely cross the northern border will have to wait a while. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told reporters that 75% of Canadians will need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 before they even consider loosening restrictions. As of Tuesday, only 3.8% of Canadians have been fully vaccinated. The orders banning non-essential travel between the two countries is set to expire on Friday, but is expected to be extended again. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the CDC says 60% of adults have gotten at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and more people of color are getting the shots. The agency says they represent 51% of vaccinations in the past 2 weeks. The CDC adds that 3.5 million people ages 12 to 17 have received at least one dose. And back home, Clay County public health officials are seeing a slow increase with people getting vaccinated. Almost 41% of the population has received at least one dose, and 35% have completed the series. Here's a breakdown of the age groups who have the first dose. More than 300 people who are 16 and 17 years old, nearly 8,600 people ages 18 to 49, and close to 5,000 people ages 50 to 64. Nearly 6,200 people who are at least 65 years old have their first shot. Clay County Public Health will hold a vaccine clinic from 1:30 to 3:30 tomorrow afternoon at the Jomkomst Center. Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be available. And in Cass County, about 52% of people ages 12 and older are fully vaccinated. 150,000 doses have been administered in the county so far. Governor Tim Walz continues his push to get Minnesotans vaccinated. He's been encouraging families with kids who are at least 12 years old to get the vaccine. It comes as vaccination numbers are dropping week to week in the state. Despite the mask mandate and other restrictions being lifted, health officials say many people have not received the vaccine and the virus could still spread.
I can't stress enough, as we move back towards a semblance of normalcy, does not mean this is over, but it does mean those folks who are vaccinated, who are healthy, who are ready to move on can do that. We're asking others that if you're not vaccinated, continue to mask up.
Since the vaccine push began late last year, Minnesota has administered nearly 5 million vaccine doses. As of Monday, nearly 54% of Minnesotans ages 16 and up are fully vaccinated against the virus. Meanwhile, Essentia Health is partnering with West Fargo Public Schools to host a student vaccination clinic for anyone at least 12 years old. It will take place on Monday from 3 to 8 p.m. at the former Gordman's building. Appointments are encouraged, but they will accommodate walk-ins if there's enough vaccine. You can find information to set up an appointment on our website, valleynewslive.com. Starting June 1st, face coverings will no longer be required on the UND campus. However, they strongly encourage those who are not fully vaccinated to continue wearing masks. You can view the full policy on our website, valleynewslive.com. People at the Fargo VA were enjoying the warm weather today while helping at-risk veterans. The annual VA 2K Walk and Roll event took place outside of the Fargo VA this morning. Those who took part could use their wheelchairs or walk at their own pace. Organizers say it's important to show love and support for veterans who risk their lives for our freedom.
These kind of events really show how much they're loved and how much we support our veterans here at the VA.
The Fargo VA is collecting food and beverage donations to help homeless veterans, and you can find more information on our website. Southern states are getting lashed with heavy rain, wind, and flash flooding. We'll show you the damage still to come.
And we have reported tornadoes out to the west. Tappan area has a very strong cell. Good news, the tornado warning has expired. We'll examine these storms, tell you where they're going, and talk about rain in your forecast in this drought coming up next.
Would you like to lose a pound of fat a day?
You have to weigh yourself